Brilliant Minutes, sponsored by Sinclair Heating and Cooling for 24/7 comfort on call.
Well, hello, Brad. Happy Monday, or maybe not so happy Monday.
Well,
here.
we're all feeling a little parched these days.
sure are.
With the heat and humidity. I found this interesting study from the Arizona State University, okay? New global study shows fresh water is disappearing at alarming rates. So let's learn more.
Okay.
They used 2 decades of satellite observations. They found that Earth's continents have experienced unprecedented freshwater loss since 2002. And this, of course, is driven by climate change. We've covered that many times. Unsustainable groundwater use. We've talked about that previously. And extreme droughts, which are becoming more extreme and more frequent because of climate change,
Part A.
which results in more groundwater
Right.
use. It's a big cycle, okay? They identified 4 continental scale, what they call mega drying regions, all located in the Northern Hemisphere. Bear in mind that the majority of the landmass of the globe is in the Northern Hemisphere, and hence that's where the majority of humans live.
Sure.
Okay? So with that in mind, the rate at which dry areas are getting drier now outpaces the rate at which wet areas are getting wetter. This is reversing a long-standing pattern in hydrology, which is the flow and movement of water, okay? So the study has actually identified what seems to be a tipping point around 2014, 2015. Remember back in your mind, because we did this story many times, the 10 hottest years on record.
Started around this time.
Correct, in the past decade. So again, climate extremes began accelerating this freshwater loss, okay? Groundwater uses increased. Continental drying exceeded the rates of glacier and ice sheet melting.
Which is also a problem, by the way.
Correct, but here's the problem, Chris, is that even though you get that fresh water runoff, the problem is the land is still drying faster than the melting glaciers replenishes, okay? The drying regions have flipped from being located mostly in the southern hemisphere now to the north, and vice versa for wet regions. So they supply this really, really interesting graph for us, okay?
So I'm noticing something.
So here's the problem. You get into the yellows, the oranges, the reds, the deeper the shade, the more severe the drying. Opposite with the blue, the wetter it is there. Notice, by the way, right near the equator, it's actually getting wetter in areas,
especially in here where you would not expect.
Correct. That, remember they said about the big flip. Now look at the northern hemisphere. You can see all of the drying there, and what you saw instantly. Look at the fastest drying. It's North America, particularly Canada. It's drying the fastest. And what have we seen a lot of in recent years?
Wildfires.
Correct. Not to mention that America is also the breadbasket for much of the world. And now, what's going to happen to agriculture? We're going to have to pump more water out of the ground, okay? So, and that's what this says. The researchers identified that the type of water loss on land for the first time, the greatest is groundwater, 68%, okay? And they say, quote, the consequences of continued groundwater overuse could undermine food and water security for billions of people around the world. This is an all hands on deck moment. We need immediate action on global water security. So you can't really argue with any of that, okay? Chris, I also want to remind you, we also did a related story back in June of 2023. Surprised and concerned, scientists find groundwater extracted by humans has shifted the tilt of the Earth's axis. Because all of this water has been pumped out of the ground, it actually has kind of changed the mass of the Earth. And because of it, that axis has shifted, the axis of which the Earth orbits around, okay, or rotates around, has shifted by 31.5 degrees since the 1990s.
That's a lot.
It is. And are there global consequences as far as climate is concerned? There, an unknown, but it's something else that's happening because of the pumping of groundwater.
Might have something to do with that flip we're talking about.
Maybe
30 degrees. Brad, that was a lot to handle on Monday.
I hope it was insightful.
It certainly was. All right, thanks so much. We'll see you tomorrow. Well, we all know Wisconsin.